Hi guys, this is Henry Pim coming to you with yet another review. This time is the yellow and blue Goliath, sculpted by Jason Smith for Bowen Designs back in 2011. So it's a 3-year-old statue now. This is number 279 of 450, so it's a relatively low number, limited edition. It's a digital sculpt, as I said. It's very clean sculpt, as you can see. And this shows the advantage of a digital sculpt, in my opinion. I mean, I'm becoming a fan of Jason Smith himself. He's done some excellent statues. He's also done the Giant Man statue and the blue and red Goliath. He's also done a very rare beta ray bill, which I'm going to receive in about 4 weeks. I bought it, from a guy in Asia. And that's how far I had to look for this, for this freaking statue. But not Goliath. I bought Goliath in the States. And it took about 3 weeks to get here, which is normal. And I'm very happy with it. It's a very tall statue, very good looking statue. This, of course, is one of the many incarnations of Henry Pym. Or one of the many alter egos, is better said. Henry Pym is one of my favorite characters, maybe my favorite Avengers character ever. He's had some tough luck in the Marvel Universe though, because writers, made him out to look like a schizophrenic, like a mentally unstable kind of guy. And some of that is because of a misunderstanding between the writer and the artist. I mean, most of you might remember the Avengers storyline when he was the Yellow Jacket and he bitch slapped the Wasp, and that wasn't intended that way by the writer, but the artist, he interpreted it that way. What he saw in the script, and that wasn't very good for his career as an Avenger, but it also wasn't very good for the way he was perceived by fans. Since then he's come back from that, of course, and he's always been a mainstay in the Marvel Universe. But I think he's now a teacher at the Avengers Academy. So, I think he isn't being used as he could be and as he should be. I mean, he's a brilliant scientist. He's a brilliant biochemist. He's good at technology. Of course, he's created Ultron. He's a very intelligent kind of guy. He had many alter egos. He started off as the Ant-Man. Later on, changed that to Giant Man. From Giant Man, he went to Goliath. To Yellow Jacket. From Yellow Jacket, he went to Goliath. And then he went over, to a blue and red Goliath with antennas, which is also a variant of this statue, or maybe a completely different statue. But I believe it's a mirrored image of this statue with different paint scheme and the antennas on his head. I would love to add the blue and red Goliath to my collection. I know that Vic has one, so Vic, if you're going to sell it, I'm your man. I also recently bought the Giant Man, also by Jason Smith. It's very similar to this piece, but much larger. It's about well, let's say, if we look at this statue, I believe it's about 2 or 3 heads taller than this guy. Let's have a quick turnaround of the statue. I love the pose on this guy. I also love the fact that he isn't too muscular. I mean, he is muscled, but you have to understand that Henry Pym is a scientist. He does work out, he does train, of course, with the other Avengers. But he isn't, a bulky, muscled guy like the Hulk is, and he isn't as muscular as other Avengers such as Captain America, because he is a scientist, first and foremost scientist, and his first priority is to build stuff and research stuff and stuff like that, and that's what I like him for. The character itself, in this form, it's the blue and yellow Goliath. I do know him from the older Avengers comics, from what I've seen. But actually reading about him, I only read about him in the Avengers Forever storyline. which you can see in the back. That's a trade I've owned for a couple of years now. It's a very good story. It's a very, very, very good story. I love it. And these are all time displaced Avengers, formed to, collected to form a team to fight a common enemy. I'm not gonna spoil too much, but it's an epic storyline. You should get it. I mean, it involves time travel. It involves you can see Goliath and Yellow Jacket. So at least two incarnations of two alter egos of Henry Pym, both in different time periods, and one is more mentally unstable than the other. And I love that fact. It also incorporates Captain Marvel modern version, Genus Fell. Also Hawkeye in the back there, in his I think that's the also a Goliath suit that he's wearing, but I'm not sure if he grows to Goliath because he's wearing his bow. So I think it's Hawkeye wearing his Goliath suit but not growing to giant proportions. Classic Captain America. In the front, that's Rick Jones wearing the Negabands. I think that's Mockingbird. I'm not sure about that anymore. So yeah, it's a very interesting story, and I can't wait to read that story again. So, and I will. Back to the statue. It's a digital sculpt. You can see it's a flawless sculpt, and that's a real advantage of digital sculpting. There aren't any lines, where you can see that the artist has used his brush or has used other tools, to correct. This is just a digital sculpt, and the advantage of a digital sculpt is that you can, choose to make a character more symmetrical. You can choose the proportions of several body parts, and you can choose the way the muscles are defined and stuff like that. And you can see that it has helped, in this case. I don't think that digital sculpting is the only way to go. I think that there needs to be a balance, between people using traditional sculpting and people using digital sculpting, because I like both, and both have their advantages. You can look at Eric Sosa. Eric Sosa, I saw an interview with him recently, and he said that he does partly digital sculpting and partly the traditional sculpting. The reason being that he got overworked or something, and his back and his arms were hurting from all the traditional sculpting, so he had to revert to digital sculpting. And as long as the soul of the character is in there, and that's the most important thing. I want to be able to see and recognize my character from the comic book. Then I'm down with it, And Jason Smith has done a very good job with this one, and I'm going to own a lot of his pieces because he's a very talented artist. So yeah, what would I give it? Sculpture wise, the sculpt is perfect, so that's a solid 8 for me. The paint job is flawless, so that's another 8 for me. This is one of my favorite pieces, and if you can get it, definitely pick it up. So yeah, that's my review for the Goliath, and I'll be doing a review of the Giant Man pretty soon. So I want to thank you guys. Please leave a comment in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe, and you guys have a good day. Bye bye.